This second week's performance is a big work called the Cage Variations. PNME has had for many years a composer competition, and it's biannual. And we have a fabulous composer named Ted Hearn who has submitted a couple of times and I think he was in the top 3 or 4, and then was the runner-up and then won. So we were so happy that finally we're going to be able to commission this guy who I've heard nothing but the most extraordinary things about. And he has actually essentially curated the whole program in the way that I often do. I mean, he has written some new work that is derived from other pieces, and he's also inserted lots of other music, existing music, into it to make a whole evening's work. So I'm looking forward to working with him on this, because this is kind of the way we've been working for a long time, and every interaction I've had with him has been great. A lot of people say he's one of the most talented and smartest guys around these days, and seems like a great guy, and Ian knows him at least reasonably well, and he's assured me that he's a nice person to work with.
Yeah, Ted's a wonderful guy. He lives in Brooklyn, where I live, so we collaborate a bunch. He's actually going to be moving to Los Angeles, I think in the fall, to take up a teaching position at the University of Southern California, which is really exciting for someone his age to get something like that. And I think that a lot of Ted's music has theatrical sensibilities, and so when I heard that we were commissioning him, I thought it was the perfect fit for our ensemble, and that only corroborated that when he came up with this idea. He basically came up with an idea that Kevin would come up with, so I'm really, really excited to see how this all fits together. So he's written some new music that we're playing. Me and Norbert, the cellist in the ensemble, are playing a duo that Ted has recently written, a percussion cello duo that I'm really excited about. And then there's a lot of other music by a whole bunch of other young and interesting composers. There's a big flute solo on there. There's another little percussion solo. We're playing some music for some wild instruments. We're playing a piece for 3 melodicas. I think that there's all kinds of interesting stuff, so it should be a really, really great evening.
He's certainly quoted from, and it was inspired by. In certain cases, I think the music is literally lifted in. So it's just replaced, But again, I think it's all been designed to weave together in such a way that the audience is unclear that we have necessarily gone from one piece to the next. It's definitely supposed to flow without intermission, as many of our concerts do. And I think he's put it all together in that way.
Yeah, and he's going to be here with us for the whole week to sort of show us how to put all that stuff together, which will be great.
So each of the pieces, the entire program, then, is one that he selected, and
that's right. Yeah.
And then he's written like little, I guess you call them interludes, almost segues to go from piece to piece that draw on the material of the piece that has just finished and sort of introduce the material of the next piece.
So it's almost like a framed story. It's almost an anthology.
Yeah.
It's actually not, as it turns out, it's not as theatrical as I had thought that it would be. There's a little bit of singing that our great singer Timothy Jones will do, but it is not, in fact, primarily a theatrical piece, except for perhaps the choreography of trying to combine all these things in this way has its own theater to it. But I don't think there's there's a sort of narrative element that binds it together. I don't think that's true. I think it's the musical elements that bring it together.